Hey Cowboys Nation, it's Alex back again, and before we get into this massive update, I need to ask you something real quick because I know a lot of you watch my videos every single week but still haven't subscribed, so if you're one of those people, hit that subscribe button right now because trust me, you don't want to miss the biggest Dallas Cowboys updates, especially with how crazy this season is already getting, and today we've got something huge to talk about: Trevon Diggs and the latest injury update. From Monday's practice report just ahead of this massive NFC East showdown between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Now listen, the Cowboys and Eagles rivalry is always one of the most intense games of the season. Both teams circle this one on the calendar, and fans know this game always has big playoff implications, and what happens with Trevon Diggs could play a major role in how the Cowboys perform in this battle, because when Diggs is on the field, he's a true game changer. We've seen it over and over again. He has that ball hawk ability. He can turn defense into instant offense with those huge interceptions, and when you're going up against an Eagles offense that loves to throw the ball, especially with guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, you need your top cornerback ready to go. So hey race, the latest news: Monday's practice report just came out and all eyes were on Trevon Diggs because remember, he suffered that tough season-ending injury last year, and everyone has been holding their breath wondering if he's truly back to 100%. The good news is Diggs was spotted at practice moving around and participating, but there's still some concern because the Cowboys coaching staff is being very careful with him. They know how important he is and they don't want to rush him back too quickly, especially in a game as physical as the one against Philly. Now this is where things get really interesting because the practice report gave us a much clearer picture. Diggs was listed as a limited participant, which means he wasn't a full go, but he also wasn't sitting out completely, and that's actually a pretty encouraging sign. It tells us that he's on track and working his way back into form, but it also leaves just enough mystery to keep fans wondering, will he be fully ready to line up against the Eagles' top receivers, or will the Cowboys have to rotate their secondary a little bit more than they'd like? And let's be real guys, the Cowboys' defense is already under a lot of pressure going into this matchup. Micah Parsons is going to be coming after Jalen Hurts all night long, that's a given, but if you don't have Trevon Diggs locking down his side of the field, then you're asking a lot from Darren Bland and Stephon Gilmore to cover everything, and while those guys are really good, you want the full arsenal when you're facing an offense like Phillies that can hit you deep at any moment. But let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture here, because this isn't just about one game, this is about the Cowboys trying to make a Super Bowl run, and Trevon Diggs is a cornerstone piece of that puzzle. If he can stay healthy and play at the level we all know he's capable of, then this defense can be one of the scariest in the entire NFL. We're talking about a defense that can literally win you games on its own. So this injury update isn't just a small note on the practice report, it could shape the entire season. Now I want to point out something that fans sometimes forget: limited participation in practice doesn't always mean a player is in danger of missing the game. Sometimes it's just about giving them a little extra rest, keeping their legs fresh, and making sure they're at peak performance when it matters most on game day. So don't panic just yet, Cowboys Nation. This might be more of a precaution than a red flag, but at the same time, the coaches aren't giving away too much. They're keeping things pretty tight-lipped, and if you've followed the Cowboys long enough, you know that sometimes what they say publicly isn't the full story. They love to keep the opponent guessing so the Eagles don't know exactly what to prepare for, and that could actually work in our favor. Imagine Philly spending their whole week game planning for Diggs, thinking he's going to be out there shadowing A.J. Brown, and then if for some reason he isn't at full strength, they're caught off guard, or vice versa. Maybe they think he won't be out there, and suddenly Diggs shows up on Sunday night completely ready to roll, and the Eagles have to adjust on the fly. That's the chess match happening behind the scenes right now. And guys, let's be honest, if Diggs is even 80 or 90% ready, you know he's going to want to be out there. This is the kind of player who thrives in big moments. He's a competitor. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to make the play that changes the game, and when it's Cowboys versus Eagles, you can bet he's been circling this matchup himself, because these are the kinds of games that define a season. Now think about it. Last year when Trevon Diggs went down with that injury, it completely changed the defense. Bland stepped up in a huge way and had an incredible season, but the Cowboys still missed that 1-2 punch in the secondary. Having both Diggs and Bland healthy and playing at the same time is what makes this defense lethal, and that's why this update is so massive. So Cowboys Nation, hey race, where I need you guys to chime in because I want to hear your thoughts. If Diggs is only limited in practice, do you think the Cowboys should take the cautious approach and maybe hold him out one more week to make sure he's fully ready for the stretch run, or do you think he has to be out there against Philly no matter what because the stakes are too high? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'll be reading through all of them, and I know a lot of you have strong opinions about this. Another thing to keep in mind is that this game is not just about bragging rights. This is about controlling the NFC East. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles here, it gives them a huge leg up in the division race and could be the difference between playing at home in the playoffs or having to go on the road, and we all know how much harder that gets. So yeah, this isn't just another week, this is a statement game, and having Diggs available could completely change the outcome. And one more thing to watch is how the Cowboys coaching staff handles the rotations in the secondary. Even if Diggs does play, they might limit his snaps a little bit at first just to make sure he doesn't overdo it, so you might see more of Gilmore and Bland handling the heavy lifting early in the game with Diggs being used in key situations. That's definitely something to keep an eye on when kickoff arrives. Now Cowboys Nation, if you've made it this far in the video, you're a real one, and I appreciate you more than you know because I put a ton of time into bringing you the latest updates and breaking them down in a way that's easy to understand. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the family we're building here because we've got some of the best Cowboys fans anywhere on YouTube, and you don't want to miss what's coming up next. To wrap this up, the bottom line is this: Trevon Diggs is trending in the right direction. The fact that he was back on the practice field on Monday is huge, even if it was in a limited role, and all signs are pointing toward him being at least available in some capacity against the Eagles. Now, whether he's at full strength or still working his way back, that remains the big question, but one thing is for sure: the Cowboys are going to need every ounce of his talent to slow down that Eagles passing attack. So get ready for Sunday night because this one is going to be a war, and he'll be here breaking down every single update as we get closer. Make sure you're locked in, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on because the Cowboys versus Eagles is one of those games you don't want to miss, and we'll be talking about this one all week long. Thanks for hanging out with me today, Cowboys Nation. It's Alex signing off, and he'll catch you in the next one. Go Cowboys!